Near 2 decades ago, the world was introduced to the product of one young Japanese child's obsession with insect collecting, which over time developed into the worldwide phenomenon known as Pokémon. Upon the game's release across each region, the series was caught in the eye of the mainstream, not only becoming a gaming phenomenon, but a pop culture phenomenon. Along with the success came the trading card game, the TV series, the plushies, the Pokémon centers, the Burger King tour. Wait, forget I said that one. Along with the success came the controversy, the regrets, and the many things Nintendo want you to forget. Beauty and the Beach. Who could forget this busty beach showdown? Team Rocket are known for their disguises, but this disguise got a bit too bodacious and real for 4Kids. As you can see by James and his awesome rockin' tits. Well, first off, give the guy credit where it's due, it's one hell of a disguise. It's nice to see Team Rocket putting full effort into their work. They could have been lazy and put on a pair of glasses or a finely groomed mustache and gotten the same result like they've done many times before. They flick off the mustache or whatever disguise they've got going. Prepare for trouble. Make it double. Ash goes, "Oh no, it's Team Rocket!" Pikachu does a thing, Team Rocket's blasting off again! Ash and the gang say goodbye to the filler characters, telling them that we'll see you again they're never seen again. The end. James usually tends to take a page out of RuPaul's Drag Race when Team Rocket does their disguises, but this time he took the entire goddamn graphic novel. But James usually plays the woman, so this was too weird for the show. Maybe it wouldn't have been as bad if James didn't inflate the hell out of them and wasn't going around saying to young children, "Maybe one day when you're older, you'll have a chest like this." The only way this could have been made worse is if you hear, "Meowth, that's right," as the camera pans to Meowth, who's also packed a stacked rack of his own. All of that made this scene too hot and steamy for 4Kids to handle, so it got cut from the English dub. James only had a scandalous 40 seconds of screen time anyway. But either way, I doubt the creators want people saying, "Hey, remember that time James looked like Faye goddamn Valentine?" On the TV series a long time ago, a long time defined as damn near 800 episodes ago, they did this whole angle with something known as the GS Ball, which showed up a few times occasionally from episode 81 up to episode 150. Because of this, I like to compare the GS Ball to myself doing online battling. I show up once every couple of months or so, and the impact I make is underwhelming. But the GS arc went a little something like this. Going against the laws and regulation of anime protagonists, Ash failed in his task of becoming the best like no one ever was. As a result, Professor Oak provided Ash with a task more suitable of the skill level, as a delivery boy, with an A to B task of retrieving the GS Ball from Professor Ivy and getting it to Oak's lab for some hot, spicy research. Surprisingly, Ash didn't screw anything up and made it back to Pallet Town, giving Oak the GS Ball. Then, in traditional Pokemon fashion, James and Meowth tried to take that Pikachu from the twerps. As accompanied by a Team Rocket appearance, a fair amount of filler happened, leading to the ball being taken in by Team Rocket's Team Rocket's blasting off again. Oak gets the ball back and his studies prove to be as effective as Ash's ability to age. So Ash has to take it to a Pokeball manufacturer in Johto, which, 70 episodes or so later, he does. So Kurt takes the ball in hopes of one day figuring out how to open it. But those hopes are dashed as the GS Ball gets the Hulk Hogan treatment, thus remaining a mystery. Up until 2008. When it was confirmed that the planned story arc for this was the GS Ball would eventually be opened up to contain Celebi, who would likely go on to become a main part of the rest of the Johto series. But plans were changed in favour of Celebi being a major part of the 4th movie. The GS Ball was given away in hopes that viewers would forget all about it, but with a series where fans are expected to have the capacity to remember around 720 creatures offhand, and those who can't are deemed as filthy scrubs who don't even duel monster. The fans didn't really forget. As everyone who's taken somewhat of a gander at the Pokemon Bible that is the Pokedex knows, one could describe many Pokedex entries as interesting, erotic, disturbing, pedophilic. Yeah, you heard me right. Erotic. Okay, the erotic thing is a lie. Unlike the pedophilic thing. As exemplified by Drifloon's questionable entries about its wacky antics as a good old-fashioned kitty swindler. It is whispered that any child who mistakes Drifloon for a balloon and holds onto it could wind up missing. There had to be at least one segment on the Pokedex, as obvious as this one may be. There are dozens of entries I could have chosen, but for me it has to be this one. Cause, I mean, put it this way, if you had to defend yourself in court using only a Pokedex entry, this is the last one you'd resort to. So I'd imagine out of the entire Pokedex, this is one of the many that Nintendo wouldn't want you to bring up. Here's another bombshell called realism being dropped on the Pokemon universe. Humans eat Pokemon, and maybe even more disturbing to consider, Pokemon eats other Pokemon. It could be as little as something as a Pidgeot swooping down to the sea to pick off a Magikarp. Or it could be something as disturbing as a 1-ton Metagross pinning you down and viciously eating you with the cube crusher he calls a jaw. Humans eating Pokemon, however, sounds a lot more sinister. And this isn't one of those fan theories people like to overthink about, this is all confirmed. At one point in the show, Ash and Brock even considered eating a Magikarp. I mean, they didn't. Turns out there's nothing but scale and bones, so they could barely eat the thing anyway. But they were still armed and ready to feast on the blood of the carp. And back in Kanto, you know why there's only one Farfetch'd in the game?
Well, children, gather round, for you see, the rest of the Farfetch'd are very much deceased.
Dead. As quoted by the smartass encyclopedia that is the Pokedex, Farfetch'd makes a delicious meal, especially when cooked with leek. Because of this, Farfetch'd is nearly extinct. That's right. In this world of Pokemon, creatures have been hunted down to the brink of extinction at the hands of us wretched humans. Just imagine the thought of some of these adorable creatures being hunted down and used for sweet, delicious protein. I know if I lived in the Pokemon world, I'd be eating a big old Taurus steak after the gym. I mean, what else would humans eat? Like, come on. What did Bruno get beefed up on? Fucking puffins? And who could forget Team Rocket's antics cutting off Slowpoke tails, a rich delicacy on the black market? That only tells us that Pokemon aren't only eaten by humans, but they're in high demand. Pokemon Shock, the infamous 38th episode of the TV series revolving around Porygon. Pretty much what happened. Pikachu used a Thunderbolt or something on a missile. Hey man, I don't really know what the hell's going on either, but one thing I know for sure is that Team Rocket's blasting off again one way or another. The missile exploded, making the screen flash red and blue for around 12 seconds or so, I think. The show was off the air for 4 months, and Nintendo's shares went down by almost 5%. Definitely not one of the finer moments of the series. Maybe you didn't consider this in the child-friendly PG world of Japanese cockfighting, but essentially, criminal organizations are terrorists. Wait, let me just... The unofficial or unauthorized use of violence, intimidation, pursuit of political... Yeah, they're terrorists. Except for Team Rocket, at least, since their motivation is money and not some Skeletor-like plan to gain power and rule the world. But you could probably find some sort of argument to explain why every criminal team are terrorists in some way or another. After all, Team Rocket hijacked a radio tower. Team Aqua and Magma tried to change the entire climate of the world. Team Galactic did a thing with the universe. Team Plasma went to extreme lengths to achieve their little protest of liberating Pokemon, even though they don't give a single damn about their little Pokemon civil rights charade. But essentially, they're all terrorists. Around here, we do things by the book, damn it!
The Oxford Dictionary, to be exact.
So by definition, out of all teams, Plasma comes across as the most terrorist-like. I mean, even though the aim of liberating all Pokemon from their trainers is more of a social thing, it's about as political as it's gonna get in the world of fictional fighting Monster League. Coincidentally, they also tend to steal, intimidate, and use violence. Under no proper authority, however! Something that I'm sure Nintendo wouldn't want you to bring up at this year's Christmas dinner. At one point or another, a Pokemon war was waged. Why was there a war? What kind of war was it? Who was involved? Anyone's guess is as valid as each other's. We don't know why it happened, what took place, or any of those involved, except for a certain lightning American, the red, white, and blue-blooded gym leader known as Lieutenant Surge, who mentions that he was saved in the war by an electric Pokemon. One of the trainers at his gym also happens to be in the army and was saved by Lieutenant Surge. So all that is known about this war are these vague little hints only mentioned within the Vermilion City gym. But what we know for certain is that this actually happened. Something about Lieutenant Surge makes him come across as the kind of guy who fought in the Vietnam, maybe even Korean War. But that's reality. In the Pokemon world, it's hard to consider what kind of war would have been fought. For all we know, US-occupied Kanto could have been at war with communist-occupied Johto in a battle to combine the two nations. But whatever the situation, I'm sure Nintendo wants you to forget the idea of a guaranteed bloodbath that would have accompanied Pokemon warfare. Unsurprisingly, Pokemon has pissed off a lot of religions. The series has pissed off Jewish people on several occasions from perceived Nazi imagery. Let's see, there was the card Koga's Ninja Trick, which had a swastika on it. The episode All Things Bright and Beautifly, which showed Team Rocket fantasizing leading a group of grunts declaring a strong salute proclaiming their dedication to the glory of the Supreme Rulers, Team Rocket. I mean, others didn't see it that way, though. And finally, in Diamond and Pearl, a sprite of Registeel had its arm raised and was changed in future releases. He's just fucking proclaiming his dedication for Team Rocket. Fucking leave him alone. Okay, I understand the others, but if this one pissed you off, you're just desperate to be offended by something. These people would go in a cardiac arrest after 5 minutes of a South Park episode. Unsurprisingly, closed-minded Christians have been pissed off from the series. Some are most likely still pissed off to this day because they don't believe in evolution. And because Pokemon is the devil! So, listen up, I'm gonna give you the rundown, alright? The truth is out, okay? Because Pokemon, alright, Pokemon are demons who are captured and called upon. Get this, they're called upon to perform tasks. Oh, it's true. It's true. The big man himself, JC, ascended down from heaven and laid the truth on me. Big man, John Cena. He told me so. Wait, that's not it. Fuck, I see what's happened. Christian parents, you fucked up. You've gone to your local market and bought your kids Pokemon Diamond on the Game Boy. So, they've been playing Kentai Denju Telefang all along. The game always did give me sinister vibes. And they're pissed off that some Pokemon have psychic powers, which Satan happens to have in the Bibles. So in summary, Pokemon is first-class Satanism and gets you a first-class ticket to hell! And apparently if you play the Poke Rap backwards, you can hear, I love yous. Okay, Christian, stick to making your signs. Finally, Islam has its beef with the series, because Pokemon is a Jewish conspiracy that's intended to brainwash Muslim children to make them renounce their faith. I'm just gonna stay far away from that. Yeah. It's something much less disturbing that wants to be forgotten. Slot machines. You may have noticed, and was also greatly disappointed when you stopped by the game corner in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, only to notice that the slot machines had been replaced by a Voltorb minigame. No, hold on there. Lay your replica Buster Sword down. It's a collectible, stop playing around with that shit. Pissed off parents and Christians aren't the reason for this. Surprisingly. It's actually because PEGI, the European system used to set age ratings to video games, changed their classification standards, which led to slot machines being removed from the game from Platinum onwards. Nintendo didn't want the game to be rated 12, because that would, you know, cut out their entire primary target audience. So the only ones buying their games would be nostalgic man-childs. The thing I find most interesting about this is that a series as squeaky clean as Pokemon, fucking Pokemon, could have been rated 12. Because of a completely optional slot machine minigame. So this was changed in Gen 4, and from Gen 5 onwards, game corners were taken out completely. The game corner that was in Ruby and Sapphire was shown to be closed down in the remakes, symbolizing the death of slot machines. Out of all things, whether it be James's rockin' tits or Pokemon terrorist organizations, the recent Pokemon World Championship fiasco is something on an entirely different plane of erasing history from a series as PG as Pokemon. I'm sure 98% of you know, but for the other 2% of subscribers that I have that came because I made a video about Bully, Waluigi, UFC, or Little Mac punching things or something, I'll save you a trip to the Independent. At this year's Pokemon World Championship, 2 jabronis were stopped on entry for apparently bringing weapons, which after a swift pop of the car boot and a quick check, turned out they did. Like, actual weapons. We're talking a goddamn AR-15 rifle. But luckily, and very easily, they were caught. Backing up the idea that to truly witness the stupidity of the human race, spend 5 or so minutes on social media. Because the goons that planned all this bragged about their trip to Worlds with pictures of guns and blatant hints of going on some sort of attack. One of them even said he planned on killing the competition. Team Plasma may be borderline terrorists in the game, but this is damn near borderline terrorism in real life. Now when things like this happen, especially within a series like Pokemon, typically the media makes a massive deal out of it, and middle-aged Christians make a load of signs. But surprisingly, that didn't happen. And luckily, and thankfully, nothing actually did happen. This was completely out of the control of the creators involved with the Pokemon series. So thankfully, the media didn't turn this whole thing into another video games cause violence thing, and the creators didn't get any heat from this. And everyone was free from harm. Fear not, fellow Federation Force fanatics! Samus will be appearing in the game, reprising her role in Super Smash Bros. As a collectible sticker, after purchasing Smash Bros. 4 as well as Samus and Zero Suit Samus amiibo figurines. Nintendo Land Prime.